Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of LVAD Talk. I am here with Javed Awan. How are you doing today, sir? It's an honor to have you.
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Shawn. Been looking forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we're all in that great fraternity of LVAD brothers and sisters. So tell me about your experience and how did you realize you had heart failure, and then what led up to you getting your LVAD?
Well, my heart issues started a long time ago. So let's go back to the future a little bit. It was back to the past, back to the future. 2009. It was May 1st, Friday afternoon, 2009. I live outside of Washington, D.C., and I was doing work in D.C. Most of my work was with government utilities. So anyway, I'm a golfer. I love golfing. So I used to take off from work early on Fridays and then get over to the golf course and do a little game and come home when it got dark, end of the day. So I would like golf until it was dark. So it was May 1st, Friday. I left work, 3:30, 4 o'clock, went up to the golf course. I was having a decent round. Up on the, I guess it was the 8th hole, I hit a tee shot and felt the pain. I mean, a horrible pain in my chest. And I kind of sat down, went up to my ball and couldn't hit it again. So I picked it up, waited a little bit, just walked over, took a shortcut to the parking lot anyway, got in the car. I had no idea I was having a heart attack. I thought I just pulled the muscle or something went wrong in the swing. So it was my first time, and I got in the car, sat down, and the pain just started to get worse. My chest, jaw, neck, back, arms. I drove home. I'm only like 10, 15 minutes away from the golf course. So I drove home, parked the car at the driveway. We have a 2-story house. We have a colonial basement, first, second floor. So my bedroom is on the second floor. And I had to get up like maybe 25, 30 steps. So anyway, got to the bedroom and I laid down, hoping that the pain will go away. Wife somehow, she was in the basement. She didn't see me. She wasn't expecting me home. She thought I'll come in when it gets dark, after my round of golf.
Right.
So she came up, and it was maybe few hours later, she came up and saw me laying in bed. And she started talking to me, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't talk. And she called my son. They called 911. Ambulance came, picked me up. I remember getting, put on the stretcher. Went to the hospital, not too far from home, went to the hospital, ER. I remember in the ER in tremendous pain, a lot of pain. And I was told that right in that ER, I ended up having a cardiac arrest. And I was pumped back to life. The doctors called a helicopter. A helicopter came over from Baltimore to our hospital. The hospital that I was in did not have any cath, didn't have any heart-related stuff. So they had to transport me to another hospital where I could go and I guess get a surgery, get something put in to put a stent in. So I got in a helicopter. I remember taking a ride from one place to the other, and then in the morning I get up and I guess I had a couple of stents put in. One or two stents, couple of stents put in, and I stayed in that hospital for about 2 weeks in ICU. And I came home and I was still in a very bad shape. I guess I probably came home early. So anyway, I was home, and then a month later, I started feeling really, really bad again. I called back the hospital, called back my insurance, and they told me to get a CD from the hospital where I had stents put in, so they can look at it. And then I get a call from another doctor saying, okay, you need to come down to DC. And we think you need another stent. You have another blockage. It was small, but maybe that will help you out. And we will do we will try to do another stent, but most likely it's going to be a bypass. I don't think the doctor said, I don't think we can reach the blockage site, so we're going to do a bypass. So I went to the hospital, checked in. Next morning, another lady cardiologist came in. She looked at me and she goes, I reviewed your CD and I think I can put a stent in. You don't need a bypass. So I got another stent in, came back home, and that's how this thing started back in 2009. I was given, I guess, an ICD after 6 months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this was May, maybe September, October. A cardiologist, I went to a checkup, and my cardiologist says, we're going to have to put an ICD in you because your ejection fraction is so low. It was like 18%, and it's not coming back up. And ICD, I remember her telling me, it's like a safety thing. You might never need it, but if you ever need this ICD and you don't have it, you're going to die. So we're going to put one in you. So I went in for an ICD surgery, stayed overnight in the hospital, came home. I wasn't happy about getting ICD, but I needed one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad I got it. So moving forward, 8-9 years later, or actually I remember in the hospital, a couple of doctors telling me, "Hey, your heart is so weak, it's not going to last you more than 9-10 years. You're going to need a heart transplant. So be careful and start working towards the transplant in a few years. Start coming back, talking to us, but you will need a transplant at some point." So after like 9 years, in 2018,
December.
it was December 2018, and I was going to see a friend of mine at the Washington Harbor. There's a marina. There's a Washington Harbor MGM brand new place. So a friend of mine had a boat there. So I used to go and spend, some weekends there, go there, just walk around, see places, come back home. So I was driving. I went over, again, it was a Friday, right?
Mhm.
It was a Friday, I think December something Friday. And I drove from my home, and it's about a 45-minute drive. And I pulled into the parking lot at the harbor. And as soon as I pulled into the parking lot, I went blank. And thank God, as I was going blank, I just parked the car, I stopped it, so I put it in P. And next thing I know is I woke up, I don't know, a minute, 2, 3 later, and I felt really bad. I had no idea, but I think I was shocked. I mean, my heart just went berserk in the parking lot. So I parked the car and barely walked over to the boat. Went saw my friends, a couple of friends were waiting there. So I sit down and I told them, hey, I don't feel good. I'm here, but I should have just stayed home. Something happened to me. I passed out in the car and so forth and so on. So I'm sitting there talking to them, and half an hour later, I felt the shock again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time when actually I felt one. I didn't know that I was shocked when I passed out. So when that hit me, I was right in front of a friend of mine, and he couldn't believe it. He said, hey, you just jumped up. And I said, yes, something happened. What it is. So anyway, 20 minutes later, I got shocked again. And then I realized it's my ICD doing something. So we called 911. Ambulance came right up to the boat, put me in a stretcher again, took me to a hospital in Southern Maryland, spent a night there. They gave me some amiodarone drip. Next morning, sent me to Holy Cross, and then I was back at Washington Hospital Center. Stayed there for a while, and then my cardiologist called and said, okay, we are referring you to advanced heart failure team, so I can no longer do anything for you. No, you got to move up to the advanced heart failure. Mm-hmm. So I have a new cardiologist, and they started talking about, as soon as I met them, hey, you're going to need a heart, and like, this is about time now, and let's, go for the heart transplant. If not, we will start talking about the LVAD. So that's how it started. So now I got an LVAD
In 2019.
May 2019. 6 months. So I waited 6 months after my first shocks, and I was hoping I'll get better. I might not need a heart transplant. I might not need an LVAD, but what the doctors told me 10 years ago was true, that at some point I'm going to need a heart transplant.
Right, right.
So I got
it's amazing that, so that's one of my fears once I realized what the ICD was, is it going off while I'm driving.
It went on me, and I'm so lucky that I had just gotten off the Beltway.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably familiar with our Beltways in Washington, D.C.
Yes. I moved
right
when I felt like when I was younger and I felt like I was grown and wanted to go to the big city, I moved up to that area. I lived in Laurel and I worked in DC. I worked in the city. So yeah, I'm very familiar.
So I worked in city all my life, and I was working right next to Wilson Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at DC Water. It's a utility that provides water to the district. So it's right across from the harbor on the other side. So I've seen harbor being built and all that. But I was so lucky. I mean, I just got off the Beltway, and I wasn't feeling good driving to the harbor. But I was more than halfway through, and I'm like, hey, there's so much traffic on the other side. It's better for me to just go there instead of coming back home. But just as I pulled into the parking lot, and I've never felt like that before. First time in my life, I just went blank. I mean, I just went dark, and then woke up, 2-3 minutes later. And thank God I put the car in P. As I was going dark, since I was already at a stopping point, I just pressed the gear into P and just sat there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they did an interrogation on me, I guess a day later, they told me I was shot 4 times. So I remember the 2 in the boat. So I guess I must have been shot twice sitting in the car when I blanked out.
Yeah, I've been shocked, so I know I can relate.
So then I got my LVAD in 2019. Then it was May 22nd, I think, or 23rd. So 23rd. So it was just my 2nd anniversary a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I've had LVAD. Here's my LVAD for 2 years now. Same LVAD, same bag, same everything. So thank God.
So let me ask you this: have you named your LVAD?
No, I saw your episodes with some other folks who have named their LVADs. I have not, but maybe I should. I'll think a name. I'll think of a good name.
Have you
suggestions? Let me know.
Have you ever seen the movie The Life of Pi?
No,
it's a young Indian boy, and it's a story where his parents had a zoo. And something happened. They had to close down the zoo, and I think they were going from India to the UK maybe to try to open up a new zoo. And they put like all the animals on a big cargo ship, and the ship sank. But he survived it. It was him, a monkey, and a tiger, and they all were on a life raft together. And long story short, the tiger ended up keeping him alive. You would think, being in so short of confinement with a tiger in the middle of the ocean, it would be just the opposite. But it was right. But it was the tiger that kept him alive. So the tiger's name was Richard Parker, and that's what I named my LVAD.
Oh, nice. So you like that movie, huh? Good story.
Yeah.
So I'll think of a name. I'm going to ask my kids. I might, take a little survey. I might ask friends and just, But you're right. I have to name it. I haven't named it yet. So what were we saying? So that was back in 2 years ago. I got the LVAD. The problem was right before I got the LVAD, I was in the hospital. I was sick again, and my ICD was running out of juice, and I needed a replacement. So even though the doctors were telling me, you need a transplant now, let's put you in Melanerone, let's do this, and I just didn't. Sorry, I didn't want to go through that. So I was like, hey, as long as I'm okay, even though I'm weak, I could barely move, I could barely do it. The 8 years prior to LVAD, I was in a bad shape. Even though I was moving, I was working, but I was just like a dead man walking. I couldn't do much. I was very weak. My head was always light. My head was the heaviest part of my body. I could barely sit. I was always like this. I could not hold my head up straight. But anyway, so I was in the hospital, went back in after I got shocked again. So they're saying, you need an LVAD? No. And I still kept saying, no, I'm going to wait and I'm going to wait a little bit more. So ICD replacement, they said, okay, your ICD is running out of juice. It already shocked you 4, 5, 6 times or whatever. And it's been 8 years, so we need to replace it. So I got an ICD replacement. So it was an afternoon. I was still at DC in the hospital, got my ICD replaced, came back to my room, and I'm laying down to a guy, very nice guy. I just met him in there, and he was actually having heart issues. He didn't know he was going to have a transplant, but he was having heart issues. So we were talking and, became little friends. And my family shows up at 7, 8 o'clock to come and see me. And I'm sitting and, laying down in the room, and all my family is around me. And I get shocked again, right there with the brand new ICD that I just got a few hours earlier. Mm-hmm. So it shocked me. And then everybody's looking at me and said, what happened? I said, I think it's the ICD again. I thought once I get a new one, the shocks were behind me. But it started to shock me every 30 seconds or a minute. So next thing I know is I'm being shocked continuously in that room in front of everybody. And then the hospital's rapid response team shows up and they pulled me over into a room and they were trying to stop the ICD. It wouldn't stop. So I must have gotten shot maybe 15, 20 times back to back. With a brand new ICD, and then my cardiologist walks in, and they put a little magnet thing over my ICD just to stop it temporarily or whatever. So then she goes, the transplant is later, right? No, you need an LVAD. It's either LVAD or I'm sending you to hospice, one or the other. So make up. So I'm like, whatever you need to do, just make this thing stop. So then they come back and schedule an LVAD for, I think, 2-3 days later. And thank God I got the LVAD. But when I got the LVAD, I was in the hospital and then came home after 2-3 weeks, got home, and guess what? I started getting shocks again. So I thought with the LVAD, ICD wouldn't shock you, but that's not true. So I called the hospital, went back in, they admitted me again. And they were like, okay, I was there getting shocked every single day. So once a day I would get a shock for sure.
So I didn't get my ICD until after my LVAD.
I had it before, and then I got it right 2-3 days before the LVAD. I got it replaced, and I still have it. So it still kept shocking me, and it would shock me every day. At nighttime mostly, I would be 2 in the morning, 3. My wife is there in the room, and all these nurses would run in, and it was just just kind of bad. And I know one day my doctor comes in and he goes, "Did you get shocked last night?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "How many times?" I'm like, "1." He says, "Okay, that's not bad." And it was that kind of situation. If I was getting shocked once, they were like, "It's okay." More than that, no. And then one time I had a new doctor at the hospital, and when I was shocked, he showed up and he says, "Okay, I'm sending you to ICU." And I'm like, "Hey, it's okay, man. This happens to me every day. You don't need me to send me to ICU. I'm fine." But he said it to me anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I spent a night in the ICU, and my regular doctor shows up in the morning and he goes, "Well, why did you come to ICU?" I said, "I don't know. I told the guy I don't have to come." And he goes, "Well, was there anything different with this shock versus the prior one?" I said, "Yeah, the doctor was different and he got scared." And he sent me to ICU. I don't blame him, but I told him, I don't have to go there. Shocks wouldn't stop. Finally, another cardiologist comes in and goes, "I think we're going to try an ablation." There's a procedure called ablation, I guess, where they go into your heart and burn part of it or do something to it. So I ended up having that procedure. It was like a 6-hour surgery, 6 or more. And thank God it's been almost 2 years. So since the abolition, no shocks.
I went through the same thing. Yeah.
Nothing else would stop the shocks. I mean, I was on heavy doses of amiodarone. You name a medicine that I was being given that, and nothing helped. The shocks were coming every day. And so I ended up getting overall, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 shocks.
Wow.
Within that span of period. But no, I've been shock free for close to 2 years now.
I think the most, I think I've had 6 shocks. And then they did the ablation on me. And after that, I haven't had a problem since.
It's good. That's what stopped me too. Yeah, ablation. No medicines, no nothing. I still take some medicine, since I've been shot, but I don't think they're doing anything. It was the Abolition that did it.
Yeah, it's the
So,
thank God it's been at least I've had my LVAD for 6 years now, and it's been at least 3 years since I've had a shock.
oh man, yeah. So I'm 2 years almost shock free. Thank God. So LVAD, I mean, that's shocks whatever. I was still in the beginning for first, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 10 months. The life with LVAD wasn't easy.
Mm.
It was very difficult. Like I couldn't move, I couldn't do much. Uh, Beside the shocking part, I mean, I had low flows. I had all kind of issues that would make me go back and forth to the hospital, for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move. I was in bed. I was wheelchaired. I mean, if I had to go out, I was too scared to stand up because I would be like I'm gonna fall down. I mean, it was rough. But I tell you what, I mean, those were like the first 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then things start getting better.
Yes. Yes.
And it's unbelievable how far I've come and how much better I feel now with LVAD versus the first 6 months or 9 years prior to LVAD.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
that's a common theme. You don't realize how sick you are until you get your LVAD and you figure out, oh, that is not normal. What I thought was normal is not normal. I feel a lot better. I
yes.
and the whole it took me maybe a good year going back and forth. And I tell people when you got an LVAD, it's a mechanical device. So like a car, you have to get a tune-up.
Yeah.
And during my first couple of years, every few months I would go in. It might be an overnight stay. It might be 3 or 4 days, but it was me getting a tune-up.
Mhm.
Luckily, for the last 2 years, I haven't had to stay. I'm still on. I think I see my team. I'm to the point I see them like every other month now. But at first, when you first get out of the hospital, it was every few days. Then it's, once a week. Then it's twice a month. Then you get on monthly visits. And
Exactly.
yeah, so it's a patience thing. But in the long run, I think you're going to turn out feeling a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, I do. I definitely feel much better now than I did before. And just like you, yeah, when in the beginning I had to go in once a week, once every other weeks, once a month. Now I am like on a 3 month schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of it's just a formality. I mean, I go in, even my docs tell me, hey, you're here because it's just a formality. You're doing so good. I go and give in my do my blood work every couple of months, and everything has been fine, and basically no issues for a while. So knock on wood, yeah,
Yes.
thank God.
Yes.
So everything has been pretty good. I still go in for checkups. No reading. Absolutely, I can. We all can check our LVAD. If there's been alarms, if there are any issues. So I've been issue free for a long time now, and I do and I do a whole lot of things now that I wasn't able to do before. So whoever came up with this mechanical thing, thank you very much.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because it could be, the only other choice was not being able to be here.
Exactly. That's where I was several times, and without this, I wouldn't be here. So I'm happy. As I said, I thank the person or persons or team or whoever came up with all that. For someone like me and you and a whole lot of others that we're still here.
What was your biggest adjustment after getting your LVAD with your lifestyle?
I mean, nothing big. Just getting used to it. I know when I got the LVAD, I wasn't very happy. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to getting the LVAD. And when I got it, and I was the first 6, 7 months, I was going through all those tough times, and for a while, I didn't even want to leave my room. I was in home. I was too scared to go out. Like what if I pull this, and what if I drag this, and what if this happens and that happens? And I was like, hey, okay, I'm gonna get a heart transplant soon at some point, so maybe I should just wait it out, just sit home and do nothing, and then just survive or just live for another 6, 8 months till the heart is available, and whatever happens. So there wasn't a big adjustment, but then you get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
See, now I am fully adjusted to the LVAD. I mean, I go to sleep with it, I wake up with it, I take a shower with it, I drive with it, I walk with it. I mean, wherever I am, it's not even just like I remember when I first got the ICD. For a while, I was upset, and I was like, why did I get this thing? I have a mechanical thing in me.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, I forgot about the ICD. I mean, I had it for 9 years. No, I've had it for 11, 12 years. I mean, I don't even know I have it. Same thing with the LVAD. I'm at a point where it feels like I've always had the LVAD. So it's
Yes.
not like I
Yeah.
made any adjustment. Just like, hey, this is how I have been all my life. That's how it feels like now.
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe
second
when I
nature
get,
now.
yeah, it's like I know for you, 6 years is much longer than me, and even after 2 years, I feel like I've had it forever. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to make any major adjustments. I just live with it.
One of my major challenges are kitchen doorknobs, kitchen
Yeah,
cabinet knobs.
I hear you. That happened to me once. In the beginning, within the first 4 or 5 months, because I couldn't go outside the house. I was so weak, and I even had a nurse come in to take care of me for a while. Take care in the sense that after the LVAD, I came up with what is it called, UTI
Infection.
Mm-hmm.
infection, urinary tract infection. Somehow I ended up with a urinary tract infection that wouldn't go away. So I was in this IV thing, and a nurse used to come home and like change and clean my whatever. I had the stuff in here going up my arm, would clean that and change the IVs a couple of times a day. But anyway, so in the beginning I couldn't go out. I mean, I couldn't walk. So only thing I would do is I would walk from my bedroom to my son's bedroom. We have a lot of space. We got a pretty big house here for some reason. So I was walking back and forth in the house, and I got stuck in those doorknobs that you're talking about in
Mm-hmm.
the closet a couple of times. But I wouldn't let that thing happen again. So that was it. It happened one time. It hurt so much. I started getting some sort of a drainage. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, this is now I know. So I guess once something happens to you, you're a little more careful that it wouldn't happen again. So I haven't been hit by a knob in again a year and a half almost. So,
Every
but
once in a while, I'll snag my cord on a knob,
yeah. So
but
you
it
have the
doesn't
how
take long. It doesn't take, like it doesn't get to the point where I actually pull it because you're sensitive to that now.
yeah.
So as soon as you feel a little tug, you're like, "Up, stop."
Yeah. So I haven't had any, thank God, as you said, no major issues. I do. I wear when I go out. I still golf a lot, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm back to golfing now, and I'm getting better at it again. So I have an Under Armour girdle. You have heard of it? Six
Mm-hmm.
pocket, things that I wear for that. I have a fishing vest sometimes when I'm walking. If I just go out for a walk with my wife, which we do a lot, we walk a lot. I would just put a fishing vest and put, all the wires hanging out, and then no one cares. People look at you, but everybody understands. No one has ever. I know some people are afraid. I've been out there with wires. No one have ever asked me anything. No one ever said anything to me I mean, people are so nice. No one bothers you. Nothing happens. So I do go out with wires hanging out of me sometimes because that's how I like to walk. I mean, most of the time I have the bag on. I'm out in stores, wherever, I'm carrying a bag.
When I first started and first started going out, I was always looking for a replacement for the bag. But now, especially since I'm doing this and I'm trying to bring awareness to it, I look at the bag as a badge of honor now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's few and far between. But when you're out and you see somebody with one, you be like, "Oh, okay, I know what you're doing."
Sometimes people do. I have when I first started going out right before COVID last year,
Mhm.
uh, I wanted to even, my kids won't let me go out by myself. Wife won't let me go out by myself. But I was at a point after like 6, 7, 8 months, and I'm like, hey, I want to be out by myself.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. I understand, but I have to spend a whole day out there by myself with my bag, with my, backup, and with
Mhm.
that whole thing. So what I started doing was I wasn't driving. Now I do, but like 7, 8, up until like maybe 7, 8 months a year, I wouldn't drive just to be, safe. I don't want to hurt somebody else on the road because I
Right.
didn't know what was going to happen to me.
Mhm.
So, but so I started going out, And what I would do is I would take buses. I would go up to Georgia Avenue right here, across from my home, get on a bus and go all the way down to DC. Go to Silver Spring, change it, get another one, go to Chinatown, DC, spend a day, then take a bus. So I was busing a lot, and which I didn't do, prior to LA. All my life I've been living here. Only time I bused before was when I was going to high school back in DC. So I would go from like DuPont Circle to Wilson. I went to Woodrow Wilson High School. So I would take a bus up and down for a 10 cents token. And then I haven't done bus in God knows how many years. So I started enjoying the buses. And then what I would do also is I would go to the Union Station and I would get on a MARC train. It's a commuter train we have here that goes from DC all the way up to like
Baltimore or somewhere. Yeah.
Delaware border and Harper's Ferry. And I mean, it's a commuter train. People come to work on these. So I would get on that train and I went all the way up to the Delaware border, right? For $5. So it's like a $5 one way or $7 one way. And then you come back. So and that train I hear is like the fastest train in America. So if you ever get a chance, get on a MARC train, go from Union Station to Delaware. Beautiful. So I was sitting on it, and this conductor comes up, one time. Trains are usually full, rush hour, non-rush hour, they're empty. So conductor comes up, and he sits next to me, and he sees my bag, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Is that an LVAD?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, how do you know about LVAD?" So he had a friend. So anyway, it's a small word. So, then he wouldn't leave me alone. He just sat there, and I wanted to talk, too. I like to talk. So we talked for a while, so he knew about LVAD. And then one time I was I'm feeling better, so I started traveling. We do get sympathy here too from time to time, when somebody sees getting LVAD.
Right.
So I went to LA. Last several months, I went to LA. I went to Miami. I went to Vegas. I traveled all over the place just last several months. So first time I went, TSA guys didn't know what it was. They don't bother. You just tell them I'm LVAD. They're very nice. It just took me, give yourself half an hour more in time than you said. So I just got to the airport early. So first guy didn't know, so I told him, it goes fine. Then my second trip, there was an older guy, and as soon as I walk up to him and I told him, and he goes, "Is that an LVAD?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, my sister had it, and she got a transplant." So he did all his job, but he did it quicker than the first guy. So there are people out there, you're going to meet somebody that knows already. Not too many, but some people, have seen him or family and friends and so on.
Man, you just took me back. That's one of my favorite things about living in the DMV area is the public transportation. And ironically, my office used to be across the street from Union Station.
Wow.
I used to work in the same building that CNN is in. So
I've been in that. I worked in that building too, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. My office was on the third floor. So you took me back.
I worked right next to it. There was a place called Office. That's where the DC government did all of its finances. And I'm a CPA. I used to consult with DC government and do the books and year end and closing and things like that. So right next to the CNN building, there was another building, high-rise building, and DC Water was there too for a while. So I worked there for quite a bit, just in that right next to CNN. Yeah. And I would go into the CNN building to get coffee in the morning. They had a small little
right there in the front, yeah.
In the front, yeah. So I was right there, man, for a while, right at the Union Station. Nice.
Wow, we might have been there at the same time and didn't even know it.
Probably. I started working there in like mid-90s, and I would go back and forth quite a bit,
Yeah, I was up there. I left DC in like 2001, maybe.
I was there.
Yeah. And I used to ride the train in every day from Laurel. And so when I live in the Hampton Roads area, and you have to have a car here. And at that time I had a car and a truck, because if something happens to your car, you don't have another car or a friend, you're in trouble. So when I moved to DC, I took the car and the truck. And then I learned how to ride the Metro. It was over then. So I would just drive to the Metro station, which is maybe 5-10 minutes from my house, and then ride all day on the train and get everywhere I needed to go. I loved it. And that's one of the things I miss so much about that area. Just being able, you can get a Metro. Well, back then I get a Metro card, I put $20 in my car, and I can go back and forth all week.
Correct. Same thing now. I think there are passes for commuters here.
Mm.
You pay $15-20 a week, and you can ride the buses as much as you want. Trains are a little different. I guess you got to pay a little bit more to get on the train.
Mm.
But buses are unlimited with the $20 pass or something, and our buses are very clean and new and nice and
Yeah.
beautiful here, man. I mean, I enjoy doing that. I just got
I
back
think the
into it.
metro stations are one of the cleanest stations in the nation.
They are very clean. You're right. Yes. So what else? So let's see. Anything else?
I
So
said,
life is good, man. With LVAD, life is good. As I said, I go to see doctors every few months. I know, like 4 or 5 months ago, I went and I asked the doc. I said, so what does it look like? And he goes, guy, you're doing such a good. I know you're trying to get on the list, right? You're not on the list, if I remember.
So I go back and forth. I'm listed, then I'm not listed, then I'm listed. I'm fighting with my weight right now. And that's the main thing. Like, I am 0.5 away from my BMI goal. And it's so frustrating right now. Yeah, so that's my major thing right now. Once I get my weight down and keep it down, then So
well, I gained. I don't know if this happened to you too, but I gained like 30 pounds after LVAD.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-LVAD, I was down to 160. I couldn't eat much. I was always out of breath. I was always tired. So after LVAD, for some reason,
you got your appetite back.
I mean, I eat now. I can sit here and eat as much as I want. So I gained like 30 pounds in about first 3-4 months. And then I got scared, and now I weigh myself every day. So I've been at 30 pounds for last year and a half. And I'm not saying I'm doing something, but I'm just trying to control. And one of the way to control your weight is to look at it every single day. If you don't look at your weight and look at it after a month or something, God knows, what happens. So I have that in mind too. I mean, I am still way below the BMI, that threshold you're talking about, but another 20-30 pounds and I could be in trouble too.
And COVID did me in. I had started a workout routine, and I was working out every day, going to the gym every day, to the point where I was enjoying it, and I never thought I'd get to that point. And then lockdown happened, and I couldn't go to the gym, and I was out of the gym for a year. So now I'm trying to get ramped back up to it. So yeah.
I don't, I used to go to gym, but pre-heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
After my heart attack, 2009, I had no energy to stand up and do anything. So I couldn't lift weight. I couldn't run. I haven't ran in 12 years. I can walk a lot. Mm-hmm. I used to do that too. And now even I feel good that me and wife, we go out and walk. I can walk 4 or 5 miles, non-issue, non-stop. I couldn't do that pre-LVAD. I couldn't walk that much. So, but I kept losing weight. And I think the reason I kept losing weight was I wasn't eating much. I was too tired to eat. I was too tired. I could not like drink a whole glass of water nonstop. Now I can drink 2 glasses of water, so it's amazing, how some things you don't realize. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, things are better. No, I'm doing this. I can do that.
Well, one of the things with the LVAD that people don't realize is how important our caregivers are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I know your wife is in the background.
She's right here. Actually.
Is there anything that she wants to say?
You want to say hi?
Hi.
She wants to say hello. I don't know. There she is.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for all LVAD patients, because your job is just as important as the doctors and the nurses. The caregivers are extremely important, and you keep us straight. So thank you.
She was with me, man, all these years. Even when I was at a hospital center, I was admitted for 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
I was fasting also.
And she was fasting too, but she was there day and night. She wouldn't leave the hospital. So, she's like, she takes care of me. And now I'm a little more independent. I try to do my own dressing changes. Mm-hmm. Whatever I can do myself, I do. But she's right there looking at it. She's right there watching. Is this right? It's not wrong. And you're right. It's important to have a career. I know independence is one thing. It's good to be independent. It's good to do everything yourself. But if you have a good, but if you have family and caregiver, that helps.
Your support system is very important.
Support system is very important. Makes life much more easier.
So do you have anything to say to the other caregivers out there?
I don't.
I know I put you on the spot.
I'm just.
I guess just be nice, and just be thoughtful and be helpful, and don't get in the way, but also be helpful. If somebody wants to do something themselves, let them do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to keep your eyes open. It's important to be looking. As I say, well, she wouldn't even let me go out by myself for a while, and then first 6-7 months I lived to it. I said, fine. Now I go out just because I want to get that freedom back. So even though she's like, I want to go with you, let's do this. We spend a lot of time together. I mean,
I used to go with him in the golf course also. Like he was
Okay.
playing golf, I was walking around. But now I just, let him go.
Okay.
He's feeling okay.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to take care of an independent person.
Yeah.
So
it is. You're right.
It is.
But she's very good. And I also have kids, man. I have wonderful kids. I got 3 kids. They've been with me throughout this thing, through whatever you say, thick and thin, and they
Stayed
take
in
care.
the hospital, taking care at home.
Yeah.
Like whenever there's a small sound comes, they just run out from their bedroom and say, oh, what happened? Is the LVAD is like making noise or
So I have a good sport. My mom is here. She comes. She lives close by with my sister. She's here every weekend. I have a very nice brother, sister-in-law, sisters. I mean, I got a whole, I got a full family. So I got a whole load of people here, close by. And if I ever need anything, which I try not to. I mean, I try to do everything myself. But if I ever need anything, everybody's right here.
well, I'm going to end off my episode the way I always end it off. And if somebody came to you saying, Javed, I think I need an LVAD, what would you tell them?
Oh, I would tell them definitely. I mean, look at me. I didn't want the LVAD, right? We just went through that, and now I have it. I'm so happy. Hey, if your doctors, listen to your doctors.
Mm-hmm.
If your doctor tells you, I didn't listen to my doctor for a while, because I just thought that I could live without it. I could move, do these things. But no, if your doctors are telling you, they know what they're saying. You need an LVAD, get an LVAD. It's going to make you feel better. You're going to live longer. You're going to be much happier. You'll be able to do a whole lot of things that you never thought you could do. So yes, definitely. If you need an LVAD, get an LVAD.
Awesome.
I wish without the LVAD, if they can put in the heart transplant list, right?
Yeah. She's saying if you can get a heart without an LVAD, that's good, but that is good. But hey, most of the time you need an LVAD.
Yes.
Heart, nobody knows when you're going to get a heart.
Exactly.
Right? There's no time limit. There's nothing off the shelf they can pick and give it to you. So, and transplants could take a while, and there's nothing wrong with LVAD. I know it's scary. I know it's bag and all that stuff, but it's going to make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you'll forget that you even have an LVAD.
Awesome.
I mean, yours is 6 months, right?
Yeah. It's 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah.
So good luck with your, getting listed again.
Yes, sir. Same to you.
Yeah, but even if it takes another 10 years, don't worry. You're gonna be fine. You look great. You're doing this, podcast. You're helping all these other LVADers out there. So keep up what you're doing, and whenever the time comes, it will come. That's how I look at it. So I don't wake up every morning and saying, hey, how long? Whatever happens, it happens. Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm invincible with my LVAD. So, I might have to think about it. This is what my new normal is, what I'm used to.
Yeah. Same thing with me. And now I feel comfortable going out with it. Mm-hmm. And I feel comfortable doing, what I'm doing right now. So yeah, I get your point. But I guess whenever they call me for hard, I'm not gonna say no.
Right.
I'm gonna get in my car. I'm like 35 minutes away from the hospital. I'm gonna get in the car and drive over there. Like, hey, here I am. But hey, if they don't call me for another 5 years,
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
yeah.
Just
I got nothing to worry about. So yeah.
How can people get in touch with you if they have any questions? What's your social media?
I don't have I don't have much of the social media presence. If anybody wants to talk, I am on Facebook. I guess that's how I saw your LVAD talk off of the Facebook. I go to these LVAD warriors, LVAD friends, LVAD. There are several different places where I just go to see what other LVADs are talking about. Uh, I don't have much to say. I mean, I don't have many issues to be going there and saying, hey, I'm doing this today, all that. So I don't type up. But if anybody wants to get in contact, I can give you my number. I mean, I'm open. I'm right here outside of Washington, D.C. I love talking to people. I'm very, I enjoy conversing, enjoy learning about what other, folks are doing. I'm on Facebook. I don't know, Javed Awan, look it up, Rockville, Maryland. If not, phone number 301-518-3467. I had the same number for almost 20, ever since cell phones, mobile phones came out. So same number for past 25, 30 years. So I'm here. If anybody wants to talk, anybody wants to come over for lunch, for a dinner, meet somewhere, I'd be more than
Well,
happy.
I'm glad you said that because my late wife's family is from Baltimore. And since COVID is kind of slowing down a little bit, the kids haven't seen their grandparents in over a year. So pretty soon we're going to be making that trip, and I'm going to look you up so we can have lunch.
Hey, anytime, man, I'm right here. So,
And I mean sooner than later, within the next month or so, we're on our way up there.
I'm on your way to Baltimore. I'm like 35 minutes from Baltimore, right on your way. If you come from Virginia,
I gotta drive right past you, right?
You gotta come in right past me, yeah. And do go out, buddy. I mean, go out. As you said, for a while I was home, and then I wasn't traveling because I didn't know if it was appropriate for me to travel, if I should or not. But after, for 3-4 months ago, when I met the doctor and I asked him, I said, "Hey, what should I do?" He goes, "Hey, listen, Javed. You have an LVAD, you're playing, you're golfing, you're walking. From what I hear from you, there's nothing wrong with you. You're status 4. We are not transplanting status 4s.
Exactly.
I can be open with you. I can be honest with you. We're transplanting status 3 and 2s and 1s, people who are really sick and they're right here in the hospital. Your turn will come. I don't know when. If I was you, I wouldn't be sitting home waiting for it. So go and do whatever you want. So guess what I did? I came home and booked a flight and went to Brentwood. My sister lives in LA by Santa Monica. So me, wife, my mom, and daughter, 4 of us flew over there. She lives right next to O.J. Simpson's and Nicole Simpson's house. So neighborhood. So we were there, spent a week in LA. Took a flight from there, went to Miami it was during spring break. Stayed at South Beach for a week.
Nice.
We left on a Saturday, and South Beach started a curfew Saturday afternoon as soon as we left, same day. I mean, there were so many people in South Beach, it was unbelievable. And I loved it. We all loved it. Came home, couple of 2-3 weeks later, took a flight with like 20 guys, my college buddies from the University of Maryland. We went to Vegas. Spent a week there, played poker, walked around, played some golf, came back. Now I'm looking forward to my next trip.
Good.
So I had a meeting with the doc a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me, "So how were your last 3 months?" And I'm like, "Thank you very much, man, for that conversation where you told me." I mean, he was being honest to me. He goes, "Your coming here is just a formality. You don't have to come here, but it's nice that we meet. Only thing I look at is your blood work. Everything is great. So you can still get a call tomorrow. It's not that you won't, but don't sit home and wait for it. Do whatever you want. Enjoy your life." So that's what
excellent.
I would tell everybody else too. Go out there. Don't sit back and wait for anything. Nothing waits for you. So you shouldn't be waiting for anything. When your time comes, it will come. Get on a plane, get on a train, do whatever you want. Have fun.
That is excellent advice. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking your time out today. I want to thank Javed. I want to thank your wife for being so gracious. This is LVAD Talk. I'm Shawn. This is Javed, and we are out.
Thank you.
Thank you.